Hey everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Tami. Tami is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. Each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm happy to introduce our today's guest, who is Stephan Haymerle, who is founder of SCHRANKERL, Great Food for Busy People. Hello, Stephan. How are you doing? How is your morning, I believe?
Hello. Thanks a lot for the invitation, Alexandra. I'm feeling very good. It's getting a bit cooler here in Vienna. The first heat wave is past us. I'm looking forward to the podcast and sharing some experiences from our company.
Great. And I also can't wait to discover your entrepreneurial story. But I believe it's always interesting to learn about the journey that led entrepreneurs to where they are today. So could you tell us a bit about your background and how you discovered your passion for entrepreneurship?
So my background is I come from Vienna, and then I studied in Italy and in Switzerland. I started my career in sales, in B2B sales, so I don't have a tech background. I always had this inner feeling that I want to do something by myself. And then during Corona came the decision to do something and to change something about that in the market. But I always had this ambition also to prove that I can build a company together with other people. And I was never the big corporate guy who is climbing up the ladder step by step. It's just not my skill set.
Wow, it's interesting that you said that you always had those inner desire to build something by your own. And so my question is, do you believe that entrepreneurs need to be born with such set of skills to be a successful founder?
I don't think so, because today founders are usually teams. So you can be someone who is actually not happy in a startup, but you can have co-founders who cover these other skills. And depending on the business, you need different skills. You need people who are on the stage doing sales, being with customers. You need people in the background, more structured, building processes and good in management. You need a tech startup. You need the tech people who are maybe not salesy. So I don't think so. I think everyone can start a company, but I would give a strong advice to complement skills with co-founders.
So I already mentioned at the beginning that SCHRANKERL is somehow connected with food. So as the founder of SCHRANKERL, you must have a deep passion for food and culinary experiences. What ignited this passion in you, and how has it influenced your journey as an entrepreneur?
So, I mean, it goes back as a child. I was never really happy with how my mom was cooking. I loved it, but then I always wanted it also in kind of my style. So sometimes I was cooking at home because I wanted certain things cooked in a certain style. So I also always thought about going to a hotellerie or kitchen school. My dad said, no, go to a regular school, university, you can always do food afterwards. So maybe he was right. Now I'm back in the food business. I like to eat good food, and that was also a trigger point. So I had frozen food in one of my previous employers, and I said, that can't be. I cannot spend 8-10 hours working hard and then I get frozen food that tastes like shit. Yeah. And that was not my understanding of how I spend time at the office.
You mentioned the disappointment with frozen and reheated office meals. How did you go about finding the best regional food partners to provide fresh and diverse option for SCHRANKERL?
Yeah. So I mean, that's not completely against frozen food. There's great products being frozen. I think basically in the food industry, it basically always comes down to the ingredients. if the ingredients have a bad quality, you can't really do a good product about it, or it's very difficult. So basically, it's about what you put into your meal. And there we decided we want local partners that we can trust, that we can also have personal touch points, that we can manage the quality, and where we know they also have a passion for producing, for cooking good meals, and not for having other objectives at their priority, which comes with corporate structures, with industry food. Industry food, you always try to optimize, and there's often the quality is the one that drops.
I found also such information that sustainability is a key aspect of your company offering. How do you ensure that the food deliveries are aligned with reducing food waste? Are there any unique approaches or, let's say, partnership you have established in this regard?
Yeah. So I mean, this whole topic of sustainability is, first of all, I think today you shouldn't and you can't start a company without having sustainability in your focus, no matter what business it is, because people don't want to work for companies that are destroying climate. Or I would say the best people and the majority doesn't want to do that anymore. And that was also the motivation for us, for Sarah, my co-founder, and me. We want to build a company that brings good food to people in the office, to make them happy where they work, and to get them to the office and create a place where they want to work, but also to build it sustainable. And there's always sustainability. There's the environmental sustainability, but it also has to be economically sustainable. And we, at this early stage, don't have the commercial power, the economic power to really do it like zero emission. That's still our goal. But we looked into, okay, what are the biggest footprints that we have, and how can we solve them today? And there is the three biggest footprints that we have is meat in the dishes, food waste, so food that's not consumed but thrown away. And the third one is packaging / transportation. There's a big step. So the two first are really food waste and meat consumption. Meat consumption, we have SCHRANKERL without meat, but we're not educating customers. We help them to eat less meat, and we have super good vegan and vegetarian alternatives, like dishes that are tasting good, and consumers sometimes don't even recognize that there is no meat inside. And I think that helps people to switch from meat to without meat. But I mean, we don't educate them. We also have meat dishes. But this is our biggest leverage, is helping employees and companies to eat less meat, to try out new things, and to realize, hey, that's actually tasting really good, although there's no meat inside.
Wow, that's really nice.
And the second part is food waste. And there we put a lot of effort into collecting food and donating it. Yeah, because it's ready to eat food. So we collecting that and giving it to charity organizations, and they're super happy because it's not stuff from the supermarket that, okay, an apple you can eat directly, but if you get the pack of pasta, you need someone to cook it. So you're getting ready to eat meals. They can put it also in the oven, microwave, and eat it directly. And the quality at our products is so good that it's actually very good to eat also after the due date.
Wow, I'm honestly impressed because you SCHRANKERL your company, so you are, let's say, socially responsible for some part because you take part in charity and some kind of education and giving people freedom and option that, for example, food options without meat, they also are great. That's really nice. And also the topic which I wanted to touch on regarding employer branding. In what ways does SCHRANKERL contribute to enhancing employer branding for companies that provide these services to their employees?
Yeah. So, I mean, we all know that that's also an advice for startups. We can only be successful as a company if the team is successful. Everyone knows it. Every company, every C-level, every CEO knows that. It's a big development step also for founders, because founding a company is very easy. Yeah, you just say, I have a company. Building a team that is successful is a real challenge. And this challenge, every company has that. And as managers, leaders, C-level, we need to create the boundaries where teams can be successful. And we believe that a workspace, an office culture where people like to go, is beneficial for the whole culture. And in Austria, there was always a long tradition for lunch in general. We lost it during the last decades, but spending half an hour with the colleagues in an atmosphere where I can relax, I don't have to think about where I get my food. I just go to SCHRANKERL, I get my food, high quality at a very fair price. I can sit down and relax and spend this half hour with colleagues talking about what I did on the weekend, what I'm going to do on the weekend, where I'm going on holidays. That's bonding. That's improving communication between employees. And I think that's also the reason why people are actually working for a company. It can be the purpose of the company. It should also be the purpose of the company. But basically, people are working because they like to work with certain colleagues, because they're getting friends. And they like to work for superiors because they are inspired and they think they can learn from them. They don't work for the software company Temi or for SCHRANKERL. They work because they have colleagues there that they like to spend time with, and that they can develop themselves in. And I think we can help companies building up that lunch culture, and that's enhancing the whole employer branding topic, because it's just a great benefit to not think about food, but have great quality directly in the place where you spend time.
Wow, it's really nice that you are giving such a value for each company who is using your product. And what regarding your company, what values do you have in SCHRANKERL?
So it's very basic values. Yeah, we give a lot of trust and freedom to our employees, meaning we don't care about when they do holidays. They are I think, adult enough to decide when they go on holidays, and that they check who is responsible for their part if they're gone. So that's like very basic things. We don't have a policy, you have to come to the office. They still want to come because we have great food, which is for them for free. And I think it's a nice dynamic atmosphere. But we trust a lot into our employees and give them a lot of freedom. And we also want to build a great, successful company. So we are ambitious at the same time. So we give freedom, but we're ambitious. We don't tolerate any kind of competition, which is like elbow style. So if there's anything about I want to get in a better spotlight in the company, that's a no-go. Because that destroys trust and open feedback and open criticism about I did a failure and I'm learning from it. So this failure culture is also very important. And of course, we're all foodies, combined with a lot of us who also like to do a lot of sports, but we also like to eat good food, and that's deep down in our passion.
Wow, nice. Nice that you've managed to build such a great community of like-minded people. And I also wanted to touch on the topic regarding risks. So you said that SCHRANKERL were founded during COVID times. So I believe it was a big risk to start the company during those unstable times. Can you share what other bold risks you've taken during your entrepreneurial journey?
So, I mean, there's always the thing that, or the opinion that entrepreneurs are risk takers. I'm not sure if that's really true, because I don't invest my own money. Yeah, Sarah and me, we invest very little of our own real cash. We invest, of course, time and lost opportunity of salaries in other companies. But I mean, the greatest risk actually that put pressure on us is, what if it doesn't work? Then our team is losing their jobs. That's basically, I think, for all entrepreneurs, the biggest risk emotionally as well. And the biggest pressure is always, hey, if we don't get this running, people are losing their jobs, and we know that hurts. I think that's the largest pressure in general in entrepreneurship. We started during Corona, that's true, in an office space where all offices or most offices were closed. But I mean, we learned from the beginning how to work with it. We had tastings with masks. We had online tastings, like where we placed the food and we did the presentation online. You get really creative. Other risks, I mean, currently there is this dynamic in US and European markets that are more psychologically, that companies are reluctant to invest. There is a lot of insecurity in the market. That's really hard to say on our side if that has an effect. We don't really feel it yet. We don't know if our budget is affected or not. I think that's currently the largest risk, is more the greater economic risk. Our product, and especially the shortage of employees in generally, will fuel the pressure on companies that they invest in employees. That's for sure. And it's not only to be attractive for future employees and keeping current employees, but also making the current employees productive. And if you imagine that I don't know if you have a food in your office. If you don't have it, you think about it in the morning or in the noon, 5 minutes at least, about like, where do I get my food from? Yeah, you text to your employees, to your colleagues, Slack channels, whatever. Hey, are you ordering? Can you take something for me? And then if you go out, you spend 10, 15 minutes of your lunch break with getting food. So that's a large productive part as well. If you get this headspace away from all your employees in noon, they just work. They don't think about this one topic that they have to solve. So it's not only about being attractive as an employer, but also making your employees productive. And I think food is a large part. Also, not also like to think where I get it from, but also what kind of food. So if I order online, it's regularly burger, pizza. Tastes great. I'm also a fan of that. I order it for dinner or on the weekends, but if you eat it for lunch, you're dead in the afternoon. So also there, having food that it's actually, the portion is right and not too large. Yeah, we always get, or not always, but a lot of our customers saying, hey, your portions are so small. We focus on getting the right energy in your day, that you're not overfilled and your body is struggling to digest and not having the brain power to work. So I think this product need will always be there in the future and will get stronger and stronger. The question is our growth speed limited by economic reasons currently in the market?
You've told a lot of interesting things regarding those philosophy of food, because sometimes you've never thought regarding those moments that really in the end of the day, I need to think what I will I will have for a lunch the next day. And it's really interesting point of view of a business owner in this sphere. So moving to the next topic. As you know, our podcast is about mentorship. So I believe we all have mentors who inspire us in our entrepreneurial journey. Who are some of individuals who have had a profound impact on you as an entrepreneur?
That's a very good question. So, I mean, there's more on a podcast or digital sphere. For me, there's like Gary Vee from the US that I listen to, because I think the podcasts and short messages are very inspiring for founders because they just motivate you. But it's not a mentor for me because I think it's too difficult to reach. We have a very broad number of investors, angel investors, where there's like one also a software development company from Austria. They invested as an angel, and Christopher is a mentor because if I have an issue where I think he can help me, I can always call him and reach him. And he gave us very valuable feedback to certain topics. And now we also have a strategic investor who is there not so much on a mentorship, but more on professional like industry expertise. And then I don't have a certain like mentor that I always go to, the one mentor. I have a network of people that I trust and that I can call, and because I think everyone has certain expertise and experience that I call and speak very honestly about it. A lot of other founders that I call, and then, I mean, that's the beauty about founders. You can call them and they are reachable, and you can talk very openly with them. So the trust base between founders is very large. You can tell them, hey, we have really big problems in this topic, and you tell them the numbers and everything that's not going good. They will listen and they will give you their opinion or advice.
I also believe that networking is really crucial in building the company. As you said, you can come to another founder and they can give you feedback on some things, and I believe those feedback is really crucial for your business and for future of your business. It's not a secret that running a business can be demanding, both mentally and physically. How do you strike a balance between your professional and personal life, and is there work-life balance in your life?
So that's a very good question. I have 3 kids at home at the age between 4 and 0. So there is this work-life family balance. I don't really think, like, I don't like the word at least, work-life balance, because I love to work. But of course, there's this balance of priorities. And I've said it very straight that I need to build a company, and also Sarah, we need to build a company where we can go on holidays. So we need to go a week on holidays, not turn off the phone, but not looking into emails, and there's just like emergency calls that we are reachable in during holidays. But we want to like really shut down and spend time, in my case, with my family. So that was a focus. I also start early, but I have this dinner break where I'm at home, and then sometimes I'm working afterwards. And what gives me also a very big part of energy is doing sports. So if I have a week where I don't do sports, I cannot handle stress that well. So and it often happens. Yeah, there's too much work, family at home, and then you're too lazy to do sports. But if you get up in the morning and you do 1 hour, it has such a huge impact. So I'm trying to like balance and divide like work from home. If I'm at home, I don't work, or at least like if I spend time with my family, I'm not working. Doesn't work always, but that's my priority. If I'm on holidays, I'm on holidays. And the same other way. If I'm working, I don't do other stuff. So dividing that, communicating clearly. Now I'm not reachable, only if the roof is burning. Yeah, that helps handling family and business, and having a great partner at home is also crucial. Yeah,
I believe there is a new term, work-life blending. I believe it's maybe more suitable for you. So you just blend everything in your life. So for example, in the morning, I will work for 2 hours, and then I don't know, I need to do my personal stuff, and then I will come back to work. And so it's regarding prioritization, as you said.
Yeah, and I think, yes, and I mean, work-life balance, it means the same thing. I think it in the past, it was always associated with, I want to work 20 hours and do the rest holidays because I don't want to work. I think blending, like spending time for this part, which is the business, and spending time with other things. This blending, is probably a good word for that. Yeah.
During our conversation with you, Stephan, we've already mentioned a lot of challenges which you faced as an entrepreneur. And what are the valuable lessons you learned? And is there a piece of advice or a life lesson that has had a profound impact on you and your approach to business?
The case that we have a diverse founder team with different backgrounds, also on a gender basis, but I'm not sure if that's the most important part. But I think that helps to do the right decisions or do better decisions. So this diversity always, it seems so superficial and sometimes only headlines. But I deeply think that diverse teams do better decision making. I mean, we had a very difficult phase of fundraising. We started during the plunge of fundraising last summer. We closed it luckily in December, but that was a very, very, very tough phase. Advice, I think you cannot look back. Yeah, you always have to look forward and see how you can reach your goals and be very fast also in decision making and not think too much about it.
Nice. And thank you for this advice. And just before we finish our interview, I have only last question for you, and it's more creative, just to buzz your ideas in your head. And if you were to host a dinner party, let's say, and could invite only 3 famous individuals, living or dead, who would they be and why?
I would say Steve Jobs, first because I love the product, and second because he was such a visionary. He was not caring what other people are saying, and today there's too much. Hey, what is the market saying? In politics, what are the people, the voters saying, and not doing the thing that you believe is right. And that's great. I mean, I would love to meet him in person. The second, I think, is Barack Obama, because same. I think he's I don't know. He's an inspiring. I read his book. It's just inspiring how he moved such a huge country. And the third is probably Gary Vaynerchuk, also from the US, because he's a great entrepreneur, and not also from building a company, but also because people are so important for him. He says, I mean, you have to care for them. You have to work for your team and not the other way around. He has great mindset in terms of people, and I think that's inspiring.
Nice. It's nice. Thank you, Stephan, for sharing your thoughts with us today, and that you made time to join our podcast and giving your inspiring story for our audience. It is full of insights, and I believe someone definitely is inspired to launch the business. Thank you.
Good luck for listeners who are founding their company. Thanks for the podcast.
Thank you.